Welcome to Saturday evening jazz in Camarillo. This is a musical and social experiment for Camarillo. I've been living in this town for many years, but unfortunately I haven't had too many opportunities to play jazz. So from the very beginning I want to really put a big shout out to Mike and Melissa for allowing jazz in this place. They have other music here. I know they have lots of other music, so I'm not against that. I think any music live is great. I like records too, don't you know? But in fact, I'm kind of humbled to be playing in a store with guys like Oscar Peterson and Horace Silver staring at me from the bins. It's kind of weird, but we like it. Anyway, I'm going to introduce these guys really quick. On the bass, Mr. Monte Montgomery. He's a second and third cousin. He's on his father's niece's side to Wes Montgomery. Mr. Eddie Layman on the drums. And various instruments, mostly the tenor, but he plays a lot of other saxophones and whistles and flutes and stuff. Mr. Robert Kyle on the saxophone. My name is Fred Kaplan, and I'm just going to be playing this instrument tonight. So we are live streaming, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's like some little community in Uganda is watching, going, "Oh, this guy sounds really good." No, I think it's on YouTube. Am I wrong?
You're right.
It's on YouTube.
You're right. It's our first ever live stream.
Okay, so that's just, we're in virgin territory tonight, the first ever. So there are people going to be looking at all you guys, going, "Where is this place?" And we hope to fill it up. And you know, I just want to say, this is the way jazz used to be played in an intimate settings. With you don't need like binoculars and you know, and big giant PA systems. This is how jazz originally started, and we're going to kind of hopefully stay in that vein and keep it listening volume. And that's it. So onward, we're going to try a tune by the late great Eddie Harris, who's a wonderful saxophone player. If you're not hip to Eddie Harris, you can look him up on the YouTube, the world's largest free record collection. It's called Listen Here. This is our version. We hope you like it. Can everybody hear all the instruments okay? Yeah, it's kind of, okay, good. All right, just making sure. since this is a nice, quiet room, I can't normally play this sometimes because in bars people like to talk and drink and dance, which is fine with me. If they're not dancing, I'm not doing my job. But it would be a little bit tight in here if you all start dancing. Fire exit here, fire exit back here. But we're gonna try to do it with listening. You can tap your feet and shake your head and snap your fingers. And, just don't give me no side eye, please. We're gonna do a song that I actually remember from being a little kid. You'll figure it out. In the 20 minutes into the movie, it went from black and white to color, which at that time, seeing color on my TV set, I was a little kid. That was a big deal. We hope you like this one. I think you'll know it.
Mad Max.
guys like this is like, it's a privilege because we don't rehearse this music. We just play, you know, so like, it's like having a conversation with somebody you don't really know very good, and then all of a sudden you hit on the subject and everybody's like, how do they do that? So we don't really like work stuff out ahead of time too much, because then it ain't jazz. You just read music on paper, you know. I'm not against reading music. It's all good skill to know, but you know, the way I figured it, you know, you don't really listen to music with your eyes. Maybe some people do, but I got the ears, and these guys have great ears, so being able to play music, improvise music with people that have an understanding of the vocabulary, you know, really good grasp of it, it's a real privilege. So once again, give it up for these guys right here. We're going to switch gears a little bit and do some music from the New Orleans area. I have friends that live down there, and that region of the United States is very important for blues and for jazz because so much came out of there. There was a piano player who I met, followed him for years, and then he passed away, I think, in the early 70s. Professor Longhair. If you don't know who he is, check him out. His real name was Roy Bird, and everybody called him Fess, but he was a fixture in New Orleans for a long time, and his playing really affected mine. So this is a tune. He didn't write this is an original, but it's directly from his style of playing. So we like to give a little tip of the hat to Fess. We hope you like this one. Was asking what the name of that?
You wrote it, but what's it called?
Yeah, it's called Giacomo Boom Boom.
I was just gonna guess.
That's the name of it, Giacomo Boom Boom. If you get down to New Orleans, if you've never been there, you need to put it on your bucket list. Try to go during Mardi Gras. I promise you, it will be an experience you'll never forget the rest of your life. There's a special vibe in that town. I mean, everything from the music to the food to the people. I mean, just one time if you dance on the street when they're dancing during Mardi Gras, it's kind of like going to church. It'll change you for a minute. Anyway, we're glad you like that. If you like any of this music and you want to know like some of the roots of it, go talk to Mike, the owner. He's in here somewhere, and tell him you want those records or CDs. There he is back there. He can steer you to some of this music because he sells it all in here. He's got this and tons more. So, and he has great taste in music. So if you want something that's maybe even different, ask him and he'll tell you what he would recommend. This next tune was I got to meet this guy many years ago. His name was Horace Silver, and he's a great pianist. He played with Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers in the 50s and 60s. He eventually moved to California, and I met him when he was living in Palos Verdes. Years ago, I had a little tiny apartment down on the beach, and I was close to all the jazz clubs. There was Lighthouse, is like 7 minutes from my house, Concerts by the Sea. There was about 5 or 6 other places. Those are the 2 big ones, and I used to see him down there all the time, and he was very kind and talked to me, and we talked about music and other stuff. He's no longer with us, but this next tune is kind of in his style, and we hope you like this one. This is the one in 6/8, Eddie.
Okay.
It's a 6/8. It's a 6/8 feel. It's like kind of like Senor Blues.
Oh, yeah.
That's the feel. You can play Senor Blues if you want. D minor, D like dog. Out here. Thank you so much. I'm going to mention this guy right here with the glasses and the camera. You don't have to move, but I want to show him something behind you. There's a little tip bowl up there with some money hanging out of it. That's my money right now. It says tips, and there's also a little thing there you can stick your camera on if you want to buy music, or if you're one of those people that, you know, my husband didn't give me no cash tonight, or my wife didn't. There's a little thing there you can take a picture of it. You can tip us electronically if you think we're so worthy of it. So we appreciate any of our tips. Pink slips to cars, you know, gold, jewelry, precious stones, and real estate, paid off mortgages. We take it all. You know, we play jazz, so this is for some very luxurious things for jazz musicians like rent, food, you know, luxurious things, gasoline. We appreciate any and all tips. If you feel like donating, by all means, we won't stop you. We'll encourage you. Same thing goes for people working back there pumping the coffee. They got a tip bowl if you want to tip them for your coffees and stuff. Has anybody had their coffee already? You see, I'm used to playing in bars where they serve alcohol, okay? So for musicians, that means you gotta count the tune like right on, 1, 2. But when the places like this, they pump you with caffeine, I have to count them like this. 1, 2. Otherwise, they end up with 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's too much caffeine. That's an inside joke. For the musicians, they understand. I think we're gonna try 1 or 2 guys. Let's do it. No. It's in this key of C. It's just straight ahead. This is we lost a great saxophone player. Was it last year? I think Pharoah Saunders passed away a couple years ago. And he was he was in the footsteps of John Coltrane. He played very original music and was very influential with a lot of different people. So he influenced my musicians' tastes and friends and feeling for a lot of different kinds of music. So I highly recommend you check out Pharoah Saunders. If you don't have any of his music, he might have some here you can play later. Anyway, this is a song in the style of the late great Pharoah Saunders. The title of the song is called Master's Plan. The Creator has a master plan. That's it. There's a very cool vocal version by what was that guy's name? Leon Thomas. Yeah, he was like the guy that yodeled. I should give you the mic, man. But if you get a chance to listen to that vocal version, it's really good. Also, Leon Thomas, the Creator has a master plan. We hope you like it. Key of C. C to B flat, hold to a minute closer to the F to F, E flat for a few minutes and then back. We're gonna do, can we do a really quick one? We'll keep it quick. This next tune is an old gospel tune, probably older than the dirt underneath that street out there. And I've been playing it on my gigs for a while now, just because it's just a nice tune. And I think it was written back in the 1830s or 40s, called A Closer Walk with Thee. You probably heard it in church once or twice. They play it a lot of different jazz groups play, but we're gonna do our little version of it right now, because that's one of the messages we're trying to put off from this bandstand every night when we can. So we hope you do get a little closer walk. And then we're going to take a short break, but don't go away, because we got lots more music. And there's plenty of music for sale. And once again, there is a little tip bowl up there. You got to look for it. But we take anything under 20s, then we ain't worried about it. We'll take nickels, dimes, quarters. I don't care. Anyway, we hope you like this one.
Not pennies, phasing them out.
Yeah, right.
round for these guys up here. Mr. Robert Kyle on the saxophone. Mr. Monte Montgomery on that wicked bass over there. Mr. Eddie Layman beating his way through this wicked world on those drums. Yours truly, my name is Fred Kaplan. Don't go away. We got lots more music. I would tell you to get another beer, but this isn't that type of. But you can get another triple shot of espresso, and that means you'll get home in 4 minutes. Anyway, we got more music. Stick around, and thank you in advance for any tips. We'll do horse racing too, but there's no real guaranteed payoff on those tips. We'll see you in a few minutes. Stick around. There's lots of music to purchase here. If you're not sure what to buy, where is he? Talk to Big Mike. He's in here.
He's over here now.
There he is. He's standing by the front door. He's going to frisk you to make sure you don't have merchandise on the way out. No, just kidding. We'll see you in a few minutes. Take care. We'll see you in a bit. Thank you so much for hanging out. We got more to go. There's karaoke time. Good. We don't have enough alcohol in here to do jazz karaoke. Maybe next time. You have to get inebriated before we start this show.
Oh, yeah?
Those famous words previous to almost 80% of jazz gigs is, "Hey, I'm a singer. Can I sit in?" I sing jazz. Yeah, sure you do. You know that. We've heard that. We have a special request to do a tune. This song I learned it, maybe in high school. It was actually a pop tune. It was pretty cool. And let me make sure we know how to do.
Just stay in one key. It starts in A minor. You built the key change. It goes A minor, G, C, F, E, E. That's the whole tune. Yeah, so you don't do the key change. You just stay on one key. The bridge is Monte. So the bridge is A flat, G, G flat. Yeah.
All right, I think we're on the same page. We're going to try this tune. Once again, like I said, we don't really rehearse too much. It's if you rehearse this kind of music, you know, I mean, you can do it, but it's more fun when you walk on the edge of the cliff. You know what I mean? Sometimes you fall off and you just got to get back up on the cliff again. But that's the way it is. You know, I like jazz music because it's like having a conversation that's unrehearsed. Sometimes you talk really well, and other times shut up or go home. All right, we're going to do this tune. It's called Sunny. You might have heard this. Several big artists have had big hits with it back in, I think, 1967, 68. Does anybody remember who wrote it?
Bobby Hebb.
Bobby Darin?
Bobby Hebb.
Oh, yeah, that's right. A lot of Bobby's going on with this tune. Anyway, we hope you like it. This has been done by a lot of people. My favorite version, actually, by the way, there's two of them. I like Wes Montgomery did a really cool version, and then also another guitar player who's long gone is Pat Martino, who was a great guitar player also out of the East Coast. Anyway, we hope you like our new version. What's that? Yeah, live at Camarillo. The medication is kicking in. do another tune, and it's I learned this song when I was about 19 years old. Somebody gave me a 78 record of a band from Cuba that was playing very traditional Cuban music, and I always dug this tune. And then when I got old enough to figure out what they were doing, I attempted to do it. Adios, my friend. And it's a really old melody, but we're going to do sort of a modern version of it. We hope you like it. It's a very old traditional song that originated, I believe, out of Cuba, maybe in the late 20s, early 30s. We hope you like this one.
It's your time, but it's off. It's your time. Everything else.
guest as well. Mr. Monte Montgomery on the bass, give him a round. And of course, the illustrious Eddie Layman on the drums.
Look at hand solo.
A lot of these guys, including myself, we play very regularly at the Grape, which is a nice jazz club. I'm not trying to plug too much because we want young people to come here because you don't have to be 21, and we're trying to get into the college kids and the high school kids because they got nowhere to go here, really, real jazz. If you're not 21, you're welcome here. So spread the word, please. We're trying to get the kids. There's a couple educators here. They didn't come tonight, but they're in Ventura County. They're movers and shakers, and they work with the college groups and the jazz groups. So we're trying to get the kids down here to participate. And by the way, everybody up here, including myself, we all teach. So if you know younger people that want to learn an instrument, or you can talk to Robert and myself, you know, prospectively, you know, Eddie teaches drums as opposed to tuba or whatever. And anyway, and Monty's a multi-instrumentalist. He plays everything, including the radio and the CD player and all of that. What do you play? Piano, drums, and bass. Guitar also? And you like do tune-ups or change tires or anything? He's a jack of all trades. The guy's he's very talented. And, do you sing? I can't remember. Do you sing too?
I tried teaching for a while, but most of my students ended up on suicide watch.
Maybe.
I'm not a good teacher.
But anyway, there's we're working on this. Mike and Melissa might let me have this room in the evenings when it's closed for business, so that we can teach lessons here for some of the young people. So we're trying to get it going, and you know, and just get the word out there because there's a lot of people under 21 that really dig jazz, and this could be the place. You know, so I know they do other music here, but you know, we're trying to do the jazz thing here. So this next tune is a blues tune, and I don't think the guy's here right now. There was a guy in here earlier who writes. He's an online guy for a specific publication, and because I've been associated with blues for many, many years, that was what I cut my teeth on, and I still like blues. You know, he didn't want to put me in this publication because he thought I was a blues guy, and he said, oh, you don't play jazz, which I tried to explain it to him, but I'll just say it like this. If there was no blues, there wouldn't be no jazz. Okay, that's not my opinion, that's a fact. But some people, you know, don't confuse me with the facts. I already made up my mind a long time ago. So I have to deal with that sometimes, you know. So it is what it is, you know. But the blues is what I learned from, and I was very fortunate because of my age. There was a large group of older black men in Los Angeles who took me under their wing, and I got to play with so many great musicians and backing them up, and they were serious. Like, if you didn't play it right, you know, they'd take you outside and have a talk with you. Make sure that you understood what they wanted, and then, you know, hopefully you had a gig next week still. So it was a very interesting time to grow up in the 70s and 80s, and there was all these great musicians. Most of them had big hit records in the 30s, 40s, 50s. I worked with people like Eddie Cleanhead Vincent, Roy Brown, Big Joe Turner, Albert Collins. I mean, Los Angeles was the place for black music back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And if you don't believe me, do a deep dive on Central Avenue in Los Angeles. It was the mecca for black music back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. It's still there, but they had a hotel called Dunbar Hotel, yes, and that was, Duke Ellington used to stay there, Count Basie, Billie Holiday, Charlie Parker, everybody. By the way, you know, since we're in Camarillo, everybody knows how Camarillo's connected to jazz. Does anybody know that?
Charlie Parker?
Charlie Parker, yes. So he was inebriated with some particular narcotic. They picked him up, and they said, the judge basically said, you can go to jail for I forget how many days, or we can send you up to the loony bin up in Camarillo. So he picked the latter, and Bird ended up right out here at which is now the university, but they put him in the Camarillo mental hospital for I forget how many years. And he did his time, but he wrote a very famous tune called relaxing at Camarillo. And if you never heard it, you go on the YouTube and listen to Bird's version. I don't play it because it's Charlie Parker. I mean, you think I'm going to improve on Bird? So, I don't do that. I mean, I can listen to it and I appreciate it, but I don't do that. So anyway, this next tune is called Something's on My Mind. And it was a hit record in the early 50s by Big J McNeely, who also lived out here in California and LA, and he was a saxophone player, but the record has somebody else singing on it. It's not him, but it was a hit. Anyway, so this is our version, and we hope you like it. Key of G. Out here, it's a two. And the bass line, it's got that space.
Got it.
1, 2, 3. Push it too hard, but I will just say, I mean, there's a lot of young people that go into school and learning how to play jazz out of Berkeley and Juilliard and all that. And you can learn so much in a book, even in a classroom with blues. With blues music, it's like the tradition of the Ten Commandments. It has to be passed down verbally. It's lived.
Yes.
You play blues, and you don't have to be necessarily from a black family to play blues. You just have to understand the language. And the blues is just for the, I mean, nobody asked me, I'm not going to preach too long here. But I will tell you, the blues is the mother tongue to jazz. If you learn blues, all the heavyweight guys in jazz, John Coltrane, McCoy Tyner, Miles Davis, all those guys could play blues. I mean, when we worked with Eddie Queenhead Vincent, he told me he had Coltrane when he was in his band when he was 17. But I had to tell you a little bit about the roots of the music. So anybody that tells you they want to separate blues and tell you it's not part of the jazz history, that's wrong. It's very much a part of it, and it will always be. And you don't have to take my word for it. The records are out there. A lot of guys that were very talented blues musicians could also play jazz, and a lot of really heavyweight jazz guys could play blues too. So while we're on that subject, when they kick it into next year, there was a piano player, his name was Pete Johnson. He played what became known later as Boogie Woogie. And that music had been around since the 20s, but nobody put a name to it to the 30s because record companies figured out how to make money off it. So we're going to shuffle one out for you right now. We're going to do a couple more songs. And this one's in the, before bebop, there used to be swing music. And swing music was designed for people to dance to. But musicians could really, improvise over it too. So I still love and play a lot of swing music. So it's a very important part of jazz history. And there's plenty of people out there who still play it. And it's great. So anyway, we're going to try one for you.
Give me that JoJo sloppy hi-hat. Okay. For one drop.
Okay. Kyle on the tenor saxophone. Mr. Eddie Layman on the air drums and the drumsticks and the drums. Mr. Monte Montgomery, the late great grandson's in-laws side, whatever, fathers from the late great Wes Montgomery. That was his mother's father's brother's cousin. My name is Fred Kaplan. We want to make this a regular thing here. So if you're digging it tonight, we want to make sure that you tell your friends, get on Instagram, YouTube, any of the other, scream it out of your window or whatever. We just want people to know that we're going to start having jazz here regularly. They do a lot of other great music here, folk music and, alternative stuff. Where a lot of people, they don't have no chance to play, and this is the place to come. So I think do you have a sign-up sheet or something like?
Yeah, you can leave.
Can people get notified by like email and stuff like that?
Instagram, following us there is the best bet. But yeah,
Okay, so social media they can find.
Yeah.
And just for people listening and watching for tonight, it's American Pie.
Just American Pie Records at Instagram. Yeah.
American Pie Records on Instagram. Is it on YouTube now also?
American Pie Records on YouTube, yes.
Oh, excellent. American Pie Records on YouTube. Tonight was the first launch of American Pie Records on YouTube. So we're going to do one more tune and call it an evening, but we do appreciate your attendance and your attention, and we thank you so much for flying Fred Air. We have a little tip bowl over there in case you decide you want to drop something in there. But we're going to keep this affordable. We're going to try to keep it so that young people who don't have no place to go because they're not 21, this would be a hangout. They can come and listen to jazz, maybe get lessons from anybody in here, and buy some jazz records, take them home. You have CDs too, right? So we got full service music store right here. We got everything except narcotics. All the good stuff. It's all right here. No narcotics in case anybody's listening. Don't come knocking on the door. The DEA knows we're clean. We're good. Nothing illegal here whatsoever. It's just good humor, right? So, We don't even smoke the funny jazz cigarettes in here. That people do that somewhere else. We don't do that inside the building. Anyway, we're going to do one more tune. I think we'll do, let's do a Horace Silver tune. This is a song that he kind of had a jazz hit on, I want to say in the late 50s, called Song for My Father. We do it in a different key than the original record, but that's not because I'm anti-copying off the record. It's just I learned stuff off of certain musicians when I was younger, and it just stuck. I'm going to tell you a very quick story how I got baptized from blues to jazz. So there was a room in Los Angeles that's no longer there. It's actually a U.S. post office on the corner of Washington and La Brea called the Parisian Room. It was a happening jazz club back in the day. Everybody played there, and it was pretty much 99% black audience and most of the bands that played there. And I got a call from the house saxophone player he had a regular band there who Robert studied with. His name was Red Holloway, and great tenor player out of Chicago, but he lived out here in Los Angeles. I was like 22 years old. Hey, can you make a gig? His piano player was incarcerated temporarily. So I came to the gig, and you know, I still learning how to play some jazz. I could play blues pretty good, and I played the whole night. And at the end of the night, he looks at me and he says, "You did okay," but he goes, "If you make the same mistakes tomorrow night, don't come back here no more." And then he reached in his pocket and he handed me his car keys. He said, "There's a wood box in the back of my Ford LTD station wagon. Bring it in here." So I bring this box into the club. This is after hours. Nobody's in there except the band and people cleaning up. And he starts handing me records, 33, like these kind of records in the store here, big albums. Horace Silver, Wes Montgomery, Oscar Peterson, everybody. He's putting about 5 or 6 records and he lays them on me. He says, "Go home and study these." I said, "Okay." So, had all the standard tunes on there that some I knew. I was still learning. I took them home and I was living down at the beach back in those days. I stayed up all night, and then I stayed up the next morning trying to listen and understand what they were doing. And took a nap and got dressed and went to work the next night, and we played. And at the end of the night, he puts the money on the piano, and I was afraid to pick it up because the night before he was like, disciplining me. So he goes, "No," he goes, "You can pick it up." I go, "Okay." And he said, "I just needed to know if you were going to sink or swim." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "I could tell that you try." He goes, "Move over." And he played better piano than me. And he sat down on the piano bench and showed me all the chords to all the tunes. And I was writing them down on a napkin with a pencil so I could remember. That's how I got baptized into jazz, because you have somebody who knows way more than I knew. And he just wanted to see if I was hungry enough to learn. And then once he figured out that I could play a little bit, he's like, "I'm going to teach you." So for anybody that's listening, or for people that like jazz, that's how it works. You got to find yourself a jazz rabbi, baby. That's how it works. Just like that. If you don't have no jazz rabbi, you ain't going to go very far. You can get more than one. You could have 3 or 4 jazz rabbis if you want, but you got to get with the program. Anyway, we're going to play this tune out for you. We hope you like it.
Cue me on the bridges, because everybody does this too.
The bridges.
I know they do.
It's C, D flat. Okay, you got it, man.
I'll watch you.
Thank you so much. Robert Kyle on the saxophone and flute. Mr. Monte Montgomery on the bass. Eddie Layman on the drums. Yours truly, Fred Kaplan. We really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. I do play on Fridays up at the Grape at 5 o'clock. If you're up in the Ventura area, feel free to stop in and have a cocktail and say hello if you do show up at the Grape. It's in Ventura. It's like 15, 20 minutes from here. Thank you guys so much. We do have a little tip bowl over there in case anybody feels being generous. We'll see you next time. We're going to try to make this regular, so I'll have to get with Mike and we'll figure out how often we can do this. I can't imagine it being less than once a month, or maybe week. I would like to do it once a week if we could have jazz night here. So we'll see what happens, and keep your fingers crossed. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for those that are watching online. Stay tuned because there'll be lots more music coming out of this place right here.
One more thank you for Fred Kaplan.
Thank you so much. See you guys next time. God bless you.